بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا Muhammad وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Inshallah, in today's session, we're going to go over a very interesting and a very beautiful characteristic, something that we really ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these blessed days to give us. And what I'm noticing in our times here in America, I'm noticing that the younger generations, they really lack this characteristic. Why that is, I'm not 100% sure. It probably has to go back to entitlement and feeling that I already have everything and therefore what's there to pursue. But it's really dying out, and that's a scary sign. It's something that we really want to avoid. We want to make sure it's part of our lives, and that is the characteristic of at-tamuh, which I've translated as ambition. And linguistically speaking, tamuh is uluun fi shay. When something is tamih, or there's tamah in it, it means there's an elevated status in something. Something is elevated, and therefore it is tamih or tamuh. Likewise, the Arabs would say or describe someone who would raise their eyes to the sky as doing tamah. Right? So it has to do with an elevated status. And from here, we begin to see why this is a beautiful characteristic and why it's important to us. As if the linguistic usage of the word is alluding to the fact that the one who is more ambitious really in all actuality is a more noble and a more honorable person, or at least the ambition will lead them to a more honorable and noble status. Because let's face it, if someone wants to become successful in life or successful in Islam, if someone wants paradise, especially a higher place in paradise, then they need a lot of ambition. Also, when you look at the way the scholars describe this word and the linguistics, the scholars of language describe this word, it's mixed with an acceptance of bearing the difficulties, dealing with the difficulties that comes with trying to reach a person's ambitions, trying to reach that high status. Because again, let's face it, if someone wants to become successful in this life or the afterlife, then they're going to have to face challenges, many challenges. In fact, their life will be full of challenges. And what makes a person reach a high status is that they were able to overcome those challenges. And thus they get themselves a position of really of status, a position of praise, a position of someone who becomes a role model. And so this is very beautiful. And in order for us really to be strong Muslims, not just the average Muslim. I'm not talking about the average Muslim who prays 5 times a day and then just goes about their daily affairs. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm talking about the Muslims who really want it. They want to feel strong iman. They want the Quran to be a light in their heart. They want to have strong knowledge of the religion, a strong application of the faith. Then they're going to face challenges, no doubt about it. Now, from a technical Islamic definition, this is a longer one, but bear with me here. طموح is أن ينزع الإنسان إلى معالي الأمور. For someone to work towards, really kind of force themselves towards the more noble and meritful issues or things in life. And so notice again, the word that's being used here is naza'a. And the word naza'a means to really forcefully or using force take something out of something else. Right? And so we find this idea that if you want to reach a higher status in your iman, in your life, then by default, you are going to have to force yourself towards it, because on your road to your goals, you're going to face some major challenges. Some of them are going to be like road bumps that you have to get over. Some of them are going to seemingly be like brick walls that you somehow have to break down and get through or get around or get over one way or another. And people will be on that path trying to stop you, trying to prevent you, trying to slow you down, whether that's human beings or the shayateen, the devils who want to see you enter hellfire. So very interesting usage of the word here by the one who's defining it here. So you have this concept of getting through difficulties and also ma'ali, ulu, There's something high, something noble that is being reached here. Now, ambition can be put in many things. A person can be very ambitious in collecting all of the trading cards of Pokemon, for example. That's an ambition. You find it day and night. They're looking, they're finding, they're working hard so that they can make extra money to buy extra cards or whatever it is. They're very ambitious towards that. But is collecting Pokemon cards something really of high caliber, of high stature, of high status? The answer is no. It's a hobby, right? But it's not something that is really praiseworthy. And so our ambition, a person can have ambition, but the ambition is only healthy when it is leading us towards that which is healthy, that which is good. And in a moment, we will see how really where ambition is truly healthy for the believer is when their ambition is tied to the afterlife or to Iman. Continuing the definition, وَيَعْمَلُ عَلَى تَغْيِيرِ حَالِهِ إِلَى مَا هُوَ أَسْمَى وَأَنْفَعُ. And they work towards changing their situation. Notice here, we as human beings, we constantly find ourselves in an environment, in a situation, in a lifestyle, in a routine that it itself serves as impediments towards our ambitions or for our ambitions or kills our ambitions. You know, there are the movies, or a lot of people are stuck in a job that they hate. They cannot stand it. It's a dead-end job. There's really not much there for the person. The promotions aren't really attractive, the salary sucks, and there seems to be no future in this job. Now, if someone remains there, that job can actively and corrosively kill the person's ambition to where they become nothing more than complacent. I'm okay with this, whatever it is what it is, and I'm just gonna go about my life. And that's it. It kills their ambition. Or the person can have a type of routine, a type of lifestyle that kills the ambition. For example, those who like to stay up very late and they wake up in the afternoon or noon afternoon, they wake up at 1, 2, 3 o'clock because they were awake until 4 or 5 a.m. And now they wake up at 3, the work day is already over. I mean, what is a person going to pursue when they wake up, the work day is literally almost over? When people have already done their classes, they've already done their day's work. I mean, what are they going to pursue? So such a lifestyle kills the person's ambition. Also, sometimes there are certain things in our life that are out of our hands. You're raising children, takes a lot of time. You're working, takes a lot of time. And the free time that you have left, maybe an hour or two at the end of the day, maybe an hour at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, you're already exhausted. And so what happens is a person is just stuck in this regular routine. And although that there's a lot of good in that the person's raising their family, they're working, they're providing for their family, they're participating in their family affairs, that is great. There's reward in that. But that lifestyle will really lock the person into that life, into that routine where it becomes difficult for them, if not seemingly impossible for them to really go somewhere beyond that, to do something greater than that. And so we all find ourselves in one of these circumstances. In each of our lives are things that are kind of challenging our ability to be ambitious, challenging the desire to be ambitious. And so we need to actively work towards changing the situations to where we allow ourselves a means, a way towards that which is asma, that which is more noble, more honorable, and more beneficial. And again, this isn't an issue of this sucks and I need something else, but this is good. How can I make it better? My job is good. Well, how can I pursue an even better position in my job? My routine is pretty good. You know, I like my job. I get a good salary. My family, we're close together. Alhamdulillah, I'm raising my children and I'm getting them ready for life or for the afterlife, more importantly. That is good. But how can I make it even better? That is ambition. And so an ambitious business person might have $100 million in their bank account. It's going to last them the rest of their life. In fact, the rest of their life and the rest of the lives of their children. But what business person who has made 100 million will say, okay, that's it, I'm done. I don't need any more. None of them do. Why? Because what got them the 100 million in the first place is this huge amount of ambition. And so when they reach it, okay, where's the next 100 million? I want to reach 1 billion. Their goals are always higher and higher and higher, and they adjust it as they make progress. That is strong ambition. وَكُلَّمَا نَالَ مَرْتَبَةً نَظَرَ إِلَى مَا فَوْقَهَا. As I was just saying, and every time they reach a status, they reach one of their goals, they look to the next goal, the even higher goal. I got 10 million, I want 100 million. I got 100 million, where's my 500 million? I got 500, where's my billion, etc. Now, of course, as Muslims, we want this type of mentality, this type of ambition to be directed to the afterlife. وَلَا يَكُونُ ذَلِكَ مَمْدُوحًا إِلَّا إِذَا وَافَقَ الشَّرْعَ. Here's the point. But this ambition is not praiseworthy. Notice, he's not saying it's haram. He's not saying it's not right, it's not correct. He's saying it's not praiseworthy. Because we can have ambitions towards that which is neutral. I am very ambitious in collecting coins. There's nothing haram about that, very permissible. But is it praiseworthy? It's just a hobby. It's not good, nor is it bad. So our ambitions are only praiseworthy when they are attached to that which is in line with the Sharia. Most importantly being the afterlife. If we want ambition, then we as Muslims understand that the only useful ambition is that which helps me get to the afterlife, increase my status in the afterlife, increase my relationship, strengthen my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is truly praiseworthy ambition. And this is what the Sharia comes with and teaches us how to get there. And so how do we improve our ambition? Because again, sometimes life gets to us and it really causes one's ambition to die out or to die down. But that doesn't mean it's lost forever. It doesn't mean it's gone forever. The beauty of Islam, this is something I was always fascinated about when I was studying in Jordan. In college, trying to get my bachelor's degree in Islamic studies, among my classmates were those who were in their 60s and their 70s. I still remember his face very clearly. An elderly man, probably in his late 60s, early 70s, beard here, all gray, but he would interact with the rest of the students like myself, who was in my early 20s at the time, early mid-20s. He would interact with me as if he's the same age as me. I'm not talking about he's immature, but rather he had so much life in him. He had so much life, so much experience that he was able to interact with us at our level. Such a beautiful person. And I remember one of my teachers asked him, you know, why are you're in your 70s. Why are you studying? You know, you study to get a degree, to get a job, to see your future. Well, let's face it, in your 70s, how much future do you have left? Not only that, this individual, this man, it took him 32 years, I believe, to finally graduate high school. He would drop out, try to study, then stop, study again, failed, etc. 32 years later, he got his high school diploma, and then he entered college. And they put up a story about him in the newspaper. I remember this very vividly. So what my teacher is asking him in the university, why are you doing this? He said, because there is no age limit when it comes to coming closer to Allah, when it comes to elevating our status in the afterlife. And knowledge is the best way to do that. There is no age limit. And so no matter where you are in your life, no matter what your age is, never think that you've already crossed the line of no return. Never think that it's useless. So long as you have life in your body, so long as your life has some more time, then you have more time to reach the truly worthy thing to place our ambition towards, and that is paradise. Even if you have one breath left, you can utilize that breath to do something that will stay with you for eternity. And this is the spirit of the Prophet ﷺ. He taught us, if the day of judgment has begun, imagine you're standing there, everything around you is falling apart, the horn of the day of judgment has been blown, and in your hand is a seed. What did the Prophet ﷺ tell us? He said, put that seed in the earth, plant that seed. Why? The plant is not going to grow, obviously. In a few moments, everything is done. Why would I plant that? Because there's still reward there. There's still some time, even if the day of judgment has begun, right? The horn hasn't been blown in this worldly life. Not the day of judgment has begun, but what precedes the beginning of the day of judgment, that has started, has been initiated. Well, there's still room to do good deeds. So take advantage of it. And this is ambition. This is true ambition. How can we strengthen it? Well, one way is better acquainting ourselves with Allah Himself. Specifically, the vastness of Allah. Among Allah's names is Al-Wasi', the vast, the endless, the infinite, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, how does that intertwine with our ambition? We'll put it this way. As a believer, we aspire towards what Allah promises us. We seek His mercy. We seek His pleasure. We seek His reward. And the more we are acquainted with who Allah is, the more we understand how vast, how infinite Allah's mercy, His reward, His kindness, His compassion are. And so, however much of Allah's mercy I have acquired thus far, it is nothing close to how much Allah can actually offer me. If I have, just to be numerical here, if I have achieved 1% of Allah's mercy, and that is so much, I see it in how Allah has put blessings in my health, in my family, in my children, in my wealth, in my knowledge, everything. And that only equates to 1% of Allah's mercy. Well, what happens when we start getting into beyond the 1%? 1% of Allah's mercy is this much. There's still 99%. Oh, wow, I want that. And the Prophet, what does he tell us? He tells us, you see all the mercy in this universe, from the parents and their mercy towards their children, and animals, the mercy, the parent of an animal, or the animals, the parent of one animal, right? The mercy it has towards its child. You see all the mercy around the world, from every single tree and its beauty, every single flower and its beauty, the sky and its marvel, the clouds and its beauty. You see all the mercy around you. That is only 1% of Allah's mercy. The other 99%, let this sink. The other 99%, Allah is saving it for the believers on the Day of Judgment. If we can attain so much happiness, so much beauty, so much peace of mind in this life, with only 1% of Allah's mercy, what happens when we get it all? So the more we acquaint ourselves with Allah's mercy, with the vastness of Allah's mercy, with the vastness of His names and attributes, we will always want more. This is what it feels for Allah's mercy to touch me. I want more. This is what it means for Allah to answer my dua. I want to make more dua because I want more of that. So the more we know Allah, the more ambitious we become. Number 2, التذكر بالجنة أو تذكر الجنة وما أعد الله لأهله. Remembering paradise and what Allah has prepared for the people of paradise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Hasten towards Allah's forgiveness and paradise that is the size of the heavens and the earth. Imagine, the known universe is said to be 100 billion years. And that is just a number we cannot even fathom. And that is the known universe. Allah Ta'ala alam, how large it really is. But Allah is saying that in paradise, you can have that size, all of that area for you as your kingdom in paradise. So hasten towards that. Allah also says, Sabiqu, race. Race ila maghfiratin min rabbikum. Race towards the mercy of your Lord's forgiveness. That's where we put our ambition, because someone who is racing, someone who is moving hastily, is doing it out of ambition. I want to be there. I want to get there. And the companions lived these two verses so much so that they looked for the opportunities to be martyred. In fact, it said that two companions were close friends, and they only had one shield. So one companion gave the shield to his friend, the other companion, and said, I don't need this. You go ahead and take it. So the other companion, who was given the shield, responded and said, I am seeking the same thing you are seeking. In other words, the first companion gave up the shield. Why? Because he saw that as being more likely to be martyred, to be killed. I'm not going to hide behind my shield, and I'm now more likely to be struck in battle because I don't have a shield to protect me. When he gave the shield to the other companion, he said, I want the same thing you want. Why was that? Because they were living these two verses. They were so ambitious for the afterlife, for paradise, that living more was too much. As one companion said, if this is paradise, how Allah describes it, that's paradise, then wallahi, eating a few dates means I'm living too long. There's too much time to be in this life. To have one meal is too much time to be in this life. Where's paradise? I want paradise. Ambition, living that ambition. And one other companion was given a little bit of the spoils of war. When he was given it, he told the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, ma hadha? What is this? This is not what I signed up for, meaning the money. I am following you. I am following you in battle so that an arrow strikes here and I go to paradise. And subhanAllah, in a future battle, they found the same companion with an arrow in the same exact spot. He pointed. And even Rasulullah was amazed by this. He said, Ahuwa, is this the same person who said he wants an arrow here? And Allah, because this person was so ambitious and he was sincere in his ambition, Allah made it come true to the extent that the arrow where the person pointed, is exactly where the arrow came. Subhanallah. This is ambition. And this is what we need to be. And listen to this hadith. Hadith Qudsi, the sacred hadith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَعْدَدْتُ لِعِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحِينَ. I have prepared. Notice, who's preparing this? Allah Himself. Not the angels, not any of Allah's workers or servants. Allah Himself is preparing for the righteous servants. مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ. Something the eyes have never seen. No eye has seen what Allah is preparing. وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ. Nor has an ear ever heard of what Allah is preparing. وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. Nor has any heart from all of humanity ever imagined what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preparing. And another narration of the hadith, وَلَا يَعْلَمُهُ مَلَكٌ مُقَرَّبٌ وَلَا نَبِيٌّ مُرْسَلٌ. Nor does a close angel of mine know what I'm preparing, nor have I told any prophet who I sent. Meaning this place in paradise is so unique that no one knows about it, only Allah. Now we as human beings, we're very curious. Why do we like going on vacations, especially to areas we've never been to before, to countries we've never entered? Why do we like that so much? Because it's new, it's unique. I want to see this. Well, Allah is doing that for us right here. Imagine that. Compare this now to the world and what the world can offer you. How much can you really take from this world? Now compare that to the afterlife. What should we really dedicate our life for? Where should we put our resources, our free time? To make some more money and put it in our bank account so we look at it? Or use the money that we have for the sake of Allah? The free time that I have, should I use it watching meaningless TV, meaningless programs, just scrolling through Facebook and YouTube for no purpose? Now, if you're watching Islamic lectures and whatnot, you're doing da'wah, great, that is part of the effort. But just kind of scrolling and looking at meaningless things, and this is advice to myself before anyone else. Is that what we should do with our free time? Or should we utilize our free time to seek that which no eye has seen, that which no ear has heard, that which no one knows about, no one has even imagined it? Which one do we want? Well, the more we think about the realities of paradise, what is in paradise, imagine all the things you want to do, all the things you wish you can do. Well, you have access to all of that in paradise. It's waiting there for you. Your name is on it. Literally, Allah has made a place in paradise with your name on it, for you specifically, waiting for you. What are we going to do about that? Well, the more we think about it, the more we aspire towards it. The more we aspire towards it, the more ambitious we become. The more ambitious we become, the more we work for it. And last but not least, النظر إلى السلف وما أعطاهم الله من الخير, is looking at the righteous people who preceded us, like the messengers, like the companions, like the early generations of Muslims, and looking at what Allah gave them when it comes to good. So when we look at, for example, I myself am a student of knowledge. I aspire towards knowledge. I thirst for knowledge. I want more knowledge. And when I think about how much knowledge I have in comparison with our beloved scholars, like Imam Abu Hanifa and Malik and Shafi'i and Imam Ahmad, like Al-Bukhari and Muslim and Abu Dawood and Nasa'i, like Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam Ghazali, among others, and I compare my knowledge to theirs, that's how much knowledge people can acquire. Now, I may never parallel or rival the amount of knowledge that they had, even if I had 3 lifetimes. But nonetheless, I see that, wow, a human being can have that much knowledge. I want that. I'm going to work towards that, because let's be honest with ourselves. They weren't born with that amount of knowledge. It didn't just come to them from the sky. They worked towards it and for it. And so by looking at our predecessors, those who we revere and we love, the companions among others, we want to be like them. And thus we become ambitious like them. So these are 3 things we can actively use to inspire ambition, to strengthen ambition, so that we can race towards paradise, race towards Allah's mercy, and strengthen our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these last blessed days of Ramadan to put in our hearts the ambition that will make us among those who race towards His mercy, who race towards His forgiveness, who race towards paradise. Make us among those who will reach Al-Firdaus Al-A'la, as the Prophet ﷺ taught us. If you ask for paradise, then ask for Al-Firdaus. Ask for the highest level of paradise. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those whose place in paradise is prepared by Allah, and no person has ever seen, ever heard, or ever even imagined. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.